Are you going to make it? Okay. Dee, I'm going to unmute you. Hey, guys. Okay, if you're new and you just started, I'm Courtney Lavey. I'm one of your Ambassador Diamond uplines. And we have Dee Brooks with us tonight, and I'm so excited. This call was rescheduled from last week, and she enrolled, like, it was 109 customers?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 109 loyal customers last month, and she's a new presidential diamond. I actually just met her like face-to-face for the first time in Dallas at the green carpet, and she's so awesome. So I'm so excited for her to give you her tips and tricks and stuff. So if you will just start by telling us your story and just how you got started with this business and how kind of you came about with it, like how you came across it works and like where you're at now.
Okay, well, I am Dee Brooks. I am I just got presidential diamond in May, and I earned the $25,000 presidential bonus. So I'm so excited because I was actually I did earn a $500 Ruby bonus when I went Ruby my first month, but this was my first big bonus to me that I made. Every time I go diamond, double, triple, I was always a month or two too late. So I'm super excited for that. But just to kind of give you a little bit of background on. And sorry, I'm in my car right now. I'll be home in about 5 minutes, so it won't be with like this dome light over me. But anyway, I joined this business April the 8th of 2016, so it just hit 2 years, and it has changed everything for me and my husband and our two girls. It's crazy how fast it changed. How it's like a total 360. And to kind of give you an idea of where I came from, how I got into this business is if you found me, this is what, 2018. So 9 years ago, I was 318 pounds. I was a size 24. I was what my doctor considered I was obese, super unhealthy. I was on the borderline of being a diabetic. I had high blood pressure. Just crazy. I did not lose the weight with It Works. I didn't know about It Works then. I wish I had. Back in 2009 is when I decided to finally start my whole journey of losing weight, of getting healthy. I was sick of being sick and tired. I was, like I said, I was size 24. I'm 5'6", so I'm not super tall, but I'm not short either. But it was just, I couldn't fit in booths. I couldn't fit in small cars. I couldn't fit, I never owned shoes that were like tied because I could not reach down to tie them. So if anybody that knew me back in the day, what I call in the old days, I'm 36 now. My life has changed. It's crazy. So if you think you're stuck or you think you're stuck at where you are, I promise you're not. But did you say something? Sorry. I lost the weight. It took me about 2 years, 22 months to get the weight off. I fell in love with Zumba. And I was doing like Weight Watchers online, and it kind of taught me like food control and proportion. And so I lost the weight. I fell in love with Zumba. I decided that I was going to leave my corporate job, which I was really good at, to go open up this fitness studio. And I did. That was in 2011. And I kept it open from 2011 to 2014. And it always makes me laugh because that business, when I started that, if you ever have an encounter or you encounter problems when you are enrolling someone and they're questioning you about the $99 or they don't understand why it costs them $99 to start. Because like my fitness studio, when I opened that in 2011, my grandparents had to help me get it open. That was a $33,000 investment for a flooring, speakers, insurance, music licensing, speakers. I mean, the whole 9 yards. It was very, very expensive to start. I could not do it on my own. My grandparents helped me. They had seen me lose the weight. They loved my story. And so I went all in. I left my job, did this. Guys, my very first Zumba class, I had 5 people. And I was like, oh, my God, what did I do? And long story short, because of the weight loss and the fitness studio, I closed that in 2014 due to it went under. It was financially, it was bankrupt. I could not compete with the bigger gyms. And because of having the studio, I'd had vendor fairs come in and kind of like rap parties, and I got introduced to the raps. So that's how I got introduced in this entire business. Someone introduced me to the raps. I had loose skin. I lost 176 pounds in a 2-year period. So obviously, to me, like, even if anybody asks, like, my skin wasn't terrible because it did take me 2 years to lose it. But I had skin that I was not comfortable with, like in my stomach, inner thighs. And so I was introduced to the wraps. I knew they worked. I never once really thought about selling them. At the time, I still had my studio. When that closed, that was like my baby had died. Like, it was, I created that studio. And by the way, I'm walking into my house, so you'll know what I'm doing. But I had created that studio. It was like literally my everything. So when it shut down, that was probably my biggest devastation at the time, because it was, I mean, that was like literally my everything. And after 3.5 years of just, I mean, literally blood, sweat, tears, to have to shut it down, it was devastating. So when that happened, I went back into the corporate world. I was always, hold on, it's dark. I'm going to turn it back on. Oops, let's see. Here we go. I was always good at, I was good at talking to people. I was good at selling. I was good at any of that kind of thing. But I got back into the corporate world. I went to a company. It was actually I was outside sales rep for a telecommunication company, and that was great. And I loved it. Made really good money. I was making 6 figures a year. I'd gotten kind of our income back in line after closing my fitness studio, and that failure is what I call a failure. But it was not my passion. And I had been watching this girl named Lindsay, and I was watching her, and I saw that she was selling wraps. I knew about the wraps. Like I said, I had used them in the studio days, and I saw that she was using them, and I saw that I was using them. I saw that her lifestyle was changing. She was on the boat. Her and her husband were on a boat every day. She was a hairstylist, and then she decided to announce that she was closing her salon. She had sold it, and I'm like, okay, I bought wraps. I don't know how you're making this much money selling $25 wraps. I could not wrap my head around it. And I was a money girl. Like, I love money. I love nice things. And I'm like, I just don't understand how you're doing this. And so I reached out to her, and she was like, girl, this business is amazing. Like, you would be awesome at it. And I'm like, no. I'm not for that. I lost weight the hard way. I was very stubborn. So if you're a skeptic or you deal with skeptics, believe me, I was one. I actually gave her a hard time about it, but I was still very intrigued. I was one of those girls that was still watching her silently. So when you have those people that you say they don't ever like your stuff, those are the ones that are watching the hardest. And I watched her. Finally, I reached out. I decided to do it. Literally, I decided to do it only I wanted free wraps, because after leaving the fitness industry and going back to the corporate world, I gained about 10, 15 pounds back. And I'm like, man, I need something. Like, I remember these wraps work. So I got into wraps. She's like, girl, we don't have just wraps. We've got this thing called Fat Fighter and these greens. So I got all this stuff from her, and I realized immediately, I told my husband, I was like, I'm going to do this, at least just on the side. I wasn't hurting for money, but we had a lot of debt. And I was like, this will be awesome. I can do this on the side and get my wraps for free. I don't have to pay for them anymore. And it'll be something fun for me to do. And literally, guys, I started April 8th of 2016. And April 8th, I decided to leave my job May 6th, before commissions posted, I have to say. So I left May the 6th. I'd been in it, 29 days? And so it had not quite been a month. I left as a Ruby. Okay, so I'm not recommending you do that. I'm a risk taker. I just fell in love with the company, and I knew that if I went all in, I could give my all in. And so I went all in, and I remember my first check, which was released May 8th. And I did get the $500 Ruby bonus, but besides that, it was $198. So it was $500 plus the $198. So technically, I left my 6-figure income job for $198. And I remember terrified to tell my husband, because I was like, oh my God, he was already going to kill me beforehand, but he's really going to kill me now. And it cost us our benefits. He's not going to be real happy with me. And but he also knows that I would never do something without having a plan or a goal at task. So I was like, I see the big picture. This company is my passion, and I'll let you start the next question. But what I want to end with that is, guys, this business allowed me to realize that I didn't have, for me, when I closed my fitness studio, it was a building. It was 4 walls. It was rent. It was instructor pay. It was, licensing fees and insurance. Liability insurance was ridiculous. And I realized so fast, this business for $99 and the other one cost me $33,000. This business, I could still change lives. I could inspire. I could do my passion. I didn't need 4 walls. I didn't need a rent payment. I didn't need any of that. All I need was a phone and just my passion to help other people. And that's literally what I've done, and I've run with it ever since. That's all I needed to make this business work. And that's what I feel like the beauty, if anybody realizes what they have their hands on with just $99, that is just you have no idea what you have your hands on. You really don't until you actually get there. And then it's been a whirlwind ever since. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a tangent. It's just a long story.
No, I love your story. I just felt like people ask my story and it's like, I swear it's like 20 minutes long, so it's totally fine. But I love that like you had like a successful business before, and then, you know, it kind of went under and you had to figure out your new passion, and then you realized you could work this business with not having four walls. I remember you telling me that, and I'm like, that makes so much sense, because we like, at first it seems like $99 is a lot. When you think about all it takes to start a real business and to be your own owner, like in the corporate world, like $99 is nothing compared to 30 or 40,000 it takes to start up. I mean, even if you ran a boutique,
yeah,
outside and didn't like an online boutique, you still have to usually probably put up about $5,000 or $10,000 to get the inventory you need to sell it. You know, so it's so crazy, and I love that. Okay, so you quit as a not quit, but like you, well, I guess you quit and started your full-time wrap business, you know, as a Ruby. So you've mainly been doing this full-time. Like you didn't like work a lot and then like grow your business, you know, and have a full-time job. So what has your routine looked like every day? You know, because sometimes I think like when you are in the corporate world and then you come in and do a business like this, it's kind of hard to find your balance of like, oh, I have all this time. What do I do with it? So how do you hold yourself accountable, and what is your daily like routine look like with working business?
So like my daily routine, so I mean, I will tell you this, like I feel like my day is different every day, even though it's kind of similar and it rolls with the same flow. But what I did last week with this business is not going to work probably this week because of Facebook algorithms and all the things that have changed. But I do have simple things that I don't go to bed without. And those things are like, for one, I'm going to constantly be, I'm going to message it probably at least 50 people a day. And that might be follow-ups. That might be, you know, that might be people that have liked my stuff that I feel like are going to be great potentials. It could be someone that has asked me in the past. It could be anything, but I'm going to make contact with at least 50 people a day. And one thing I always say like this, for me, you want to be maxed out at your 5,000 friend limit. If you're not, you're missing out on a complete, like that'd be like you being, if you were a singer or you had a concert, would you not want to be, would you not want your auditorium to be sold out? Like that's free seats that are just sitting there that you're not utilizing. And someone said to me, one of my triple diamonds on my team was like, one thing she said, and it hit home with me so much, and I remember this ever since, was, if you were to go fishing, would you want to fish in a pond that had 700 fish, or would you fish in a pond that had 5,000 fish? You'd obviously want to fish in the pond that has 5,000 fish because your probability of getting more bites is obviously higher. So it's like I look at some of my team and I go like, at 800 friends. I'm like, why? Why are you not friend requesting? Why are you not finding new people? And I'll give you tips on how I get new people, because that's one of the big things. But that needs to be a goal of yours. And so like for me, I'm maxed. Like my 4980 is my number. So at 4980, I'm going to either start if I'm at that number, then I have to start deleting people. Because just like you want good people, you want to get rid of the bad people too. So part of my day I spend is like, I'll look. And if I've messaged someone, say 5-6 times, they continue to like my stuff, but they're literally ignoring me. They've read it. Then, okay, at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to let you go. You can always follow me. I'm public. But I'm not going to beg you. I've realized the more I beg someone to be on my team or to be a customer, if I beg them to be a customer, they're probably going to be a thorn in my side, and they're going to complain about every little tidbit of information possible or every ingredient they didn't know it had. And if they're a distributor and I had to beg them, they don't work. So it's like, don't waste your time. There's people that are made for this business and people that are not. One of my things I always tell people is I love to sing. Like I think I sound amazing, but my daughter and my husband and other friends tell me I'm not good. So no one would ask me to come sing for their wedding or sing for them. So there are people that are just not cut out for certain things, and you have to let those people go. Like just realize this is just not in their destiny. And so daily tasks, I message 50 people, I delete, I add. I can talk about host to post. That's one of my things. That's how I get all my LCs. I'll tell you about that. You just let me know when you want me to tell you like kind of my technique on that. But those are kind of like my non-negotiables. Is follow up, it's message, comment. Anyone that's on my friend list, I scroll with intention. Like I'm always on a mission. I'm not just idly scrolling. I'm not scrolling because I'm bored. I'm going to like on their stuff, love on their stuff, compliment, comment. You have to interact. It's called social media for a reason, because you have to be social. And I think a lot of times we want things just to come handed to us. And if we don't get out there and actually socialize, you don't ever have to worry about spamming somebody if you're making relationships. The more relationships you make, those people are never going to think you're being a robot or being spammy, because they're going to know your name as soon as you message them, because you've been liking their stuff, commenting. You've built that relationship. So that's kind of like my daily task in a nutshell, even though it's different every day. But that's kind of what I do every day.
I love that. And I love your examples of like your 5,000 friends, because I never really even thought about it like that, because I always feel like, it's just crazy to me that you run most of your business on Facebook, because I do mostly Instagram now. So now that you say that, I think about it, because we push so hard because like Instagram limits us to 75. We can only follow 7,500 people. So when I get close to 7,500, I'm like unfollowing people that aren't following me back, so that I have more people to go follow. And so I never even thought about it like in a Facebook aspect of like I can have 5,000 friends. So if it's not close to 5,000, why am I not adding people? So I love that. That's so cool. Now I like the pond.
You should think about it like that. So it makes it simple. Makes you put it in perspective anyway.
Yes, it makes so much more sense. Even though you bring in that many loyal customers, you're also bringing in a really good amount of distributors. I think when I talked to you at Green Carpet, like the month before, you had signed like, I don't know, was it 18 distributors or something, or was it last month?
Yeah, I think last month, I usually average around 20 to 30.
Yeah, so that's so crazy to me, because usually like you're good at one or the other, but like you're really good at both. So how do you bring in so many new distributors? Like I know you're talking about, growing your network, getting more people involved in your network, getting out the bad, bringing in more people. So how do you initially like start a conversation or getting people like interested in the business, or how do you offer like that $99 without scaring people away? Because I think that's what people are more afraid of, is like, oh, it's $99. Like I feel like that seems like a lot, but instead of being like, it's only $99. So like, how do you get people like hooked even though it's $99?
So to get distributors in, I feel like, well, for one, I always offer the business. That's the only thing I offer first whenever I start a conversation. One, because I've been burned where I've offered them like Fat Fighter. I'm not saying I never do, but 95% of the time I offer the business first, because for one, I can't really offend anybody that way. Me being someone that used to be larger, if someone ever messaged me about losing weight and I was sitting in that position, I'd been like, screw you. You don't know me. Like, don't talk to me about losing weight. You hurt my feelings deep down. I don't want to talk to you. I won't block you now because you just kind of rubbed me wrong. So I know that feeling. So, and I've done it before. I've met somebody about a fat fight. Are you calling me fat? I'm like, no, not at all. But I realized that if you offer them the business opportunity, I've had 9 times out of 10, someone say, well, I'm not interested in selling. I'm not a good salesperson. I don't want to do that. But I saw you post about blah, 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 and I'm interested in that. And it got the conversation started as a loyal customer. But at least I didn't have to start in a bad spot trying to explain why I'm asking them about losing weight, especially if they're like 100 pounds. They're like, why don't you need to lose weight? Are you not, do you really know who I am? So I always offer that first. But for me, to get people in and to be attracted to the business opportunity, it's literally, and I preach this to my team, it's sharing your why, and it's sharing your why all the time. Your why is what's going to bring people into your team. It's what's going to relate to other people. And you may think, well, my why is not as important as hers, or my why is not that big. Then you need to make it bigger, because your why has got to be big enough so that, like in those slow months, for me, like November, December are hard months. It's Christmas. Nobody's thinking about losing weight. They're eating. They're going to think about it New Year's. Those are the hard months. So your why has got to be big enough so that in those slow months, it keeps you motivated. Because if your why is not big enough, you'll crash. You'll quit. You'll quit for 2 months, and then your business really suffers. And then when you try to pick it back up, you feel like you're starting all over, and then you're discouraged about that. So it's like, it's seriously just, it's talking about your why. And you have to understand that your why is going to be so different from someone directly under you or someone right next to you. And that's the beauty of it, is your why is going to attract people that are in the same situation as you. So for me, like my why is I love helping women feel like they have hope, like they have another, like the ones that feel like they're stuck, because I'm reaching those girls that are 300 pounds. That's my why, because that's where I was. But I have girls on my team, for example, that have been single moms for 5 years, that were barely making ends meet, and they can reach out to all those moms out there that are single moms, don't think there's any other options. Child support's not getting paid. They don't know how they're going to pay rent next month. Like, you'll reach out to those mamas. And then I've got women on our team that are skin fanatics. Like, their why is because they suffered from acne all their life. And so now they can reach out to those moms or women or men or whoever that have dealt with that issue. So your why when you talk about your why, I think we all want like 100 people to like our why. And you have to remember that when you speak your why, and live videos are the best. If you have not done that yet, you have to get over the fear. But because that's how people hear your heart and your passion. If you were to read my status right now, I could tell you my whole story in words, in sentences. It would mean something, but it probably wouldn't hit home like if I speak it like I'm doing now. So just remember, your voice has power, and 100% power. And people hear your passion, and they know you're not a robot. Then they know you're not fake. They know you're not scam. You're real. But back to that, it's like your why. It's different for everyone. But that when you tell someone your weakness, like what you struggle with, and that's one of the biggest things, is be humble about what you struggle with. Because for me, like the moment I say, hey, I love food, I have a fat girl inside me that loves to like freaking just chow down some Mexican food. It's a weakness of mine. Like I have to really be aware of the fact, girl, if you eat that, you're going to go back to where you were. Like you have to be aware of it. But the moment I speak of my weakness, that's when people are like, oh my God, she's like, I have that problem. And they relate to you, and they're so not intimidated by you anymore. And a lot of times we get to this point where we think we have to be perfect for people to relate to us. And the last thing people want is to deal with someone that's got it all together and that is perfect, because you're intimidating, and no one wants to feel intimidated. So for me to get so many distributors in, it's just to be you. It's to be real, be authentically you, admit your weaknesses, admit your struggles. And I promise those weaknesses and struggles for me and my team, it brings people in, because everyone loves to know I'm not the only one with that problem, or I'm not the only one dealing with that. And it helps people understand that you're not this like figment of their imagination, like you're an actual real person.
I love that, because like I think too, like with Instagram algorithms, I mean, I'm kind of just comparing to Instagram and Facebook, but even with Facebook is, you know, like they want to see the pretty clear pictures. And like, I feel like people have gotten so much like of the aspect of like blogging, like blogger style pictures, and like, oh, my life is perfect. It works, allows me to go on vacations every single week. And I get to pay hundreds of dollars for meals that I didn't even like, or, you know, just like so many things. And like, it's not really us. Like it's all a highlight reel. So it's not really, oh, I just made my child cry because he was getting into something and I like just had a panic attack, you know, like you don't talk about those things because you're like, oh, like people are going to be like, okay, she's like a little bit crazy, but it's good to know, because like when people see that, they're like, I couldn't post like that every single day, or I don't dress up every single day, or I don't get my makeup done every single day. But when they see that you're being real, like it just makes so much more sense, because I know people are like, sometimes I get distributors that are like, oh, I don't have a why. I can't post that I make $25,000, $30,000 a month like ambassadors do. But I get more like feedback on posts where I'm like, I can fill up my gas tank because of It Works. Like just the little things that the everyday person wants to be able to do is just fill up their gas tank without having to watch the thing and like how much they're putting in it, you know? So just those little things that y'all have to remember that like inspire people, and like the post that like caught your attention and like why you wanted to join that person, and not someone that just felt like they had this whole life together. Like you have to keep that in mind, even when the algorithms are like, you know, the pretty clear pictures, like you can have those pictures without, you know, with people still seeing that like you're a real person.
Oh yeah.
Okay, with Facebook, I'm just so excited about Facebook because I don't work my Facebook enough. So what are some tips and tricks or secrets, or like you don't have to share all your secrets, but that you don't mind sharing with us about Facebook? Like, I know you have some cool like tips on how to like with your groups and stuff. I remember watching your training about groups. So I've been doing that too, like not just taking myself out. I'm like, why did they even add me to that group? Like, so if you'll share that tip too, and then just some things that you do that works for you with Facebook and like growing your audience, and like some things that you do with Facebook.
Okay, so, and I do use Instagram some, but I'm more better, it's not even a real good word. I'm better at Facebook than I am Instagram, and I'm growing on Instagram, but for Facebook, so two things. What she's talking about is the group. So what I started doing is I realized that, for one, I was getting added to groups all the time. I was getting added to makeup groups, legging groups, the new little nail groups. They're like the Color Street, every kind of makeup you could think of, weight loss groups, keto groups. It didn't matter. I was getting added to a lot of them. And right now, if you were to go look at your Facebook, and we just did this at dinner with two guys, my husband and his friend, and they're like, oh, men don't get added to groups. I was like, well, hold on, go look. So if you go to Facebook and you hit groups, you're going to see that you're probably attached to at least 20 groups. They were attached. My husband was at least in 25 groups, and his friend was in over 40 groups. Had no idea. So you get added to all these groups, and a lot of us just get so used to just when we get notified, we just kind of like skim over it. We don't even look at it. And I used to get so annoyed because I was thinking to myself, if I added people to an It Works group, they would get annoyed, delete me, block me, call it a scam, whatever they wanted to. And I started thinking, that's how I'm like, stop adding me to groups. And then I was like, you know what? A group in particular caught my eye. It was a boutique group. It was out of Texas, and they added me. I don't know how in the world she found me, but she added me without asking me. And it had like 17,000 people in it. And I'm like, almost all women. I'm like, well, crap. And something caught my attention one day because she posted this t-shirt. And it was like the t-shirt says, like, I love Jesus, but I cuss a little. And it was so cute. And I watched, and she had like, boom, like sold. Like in an hour, she had 133 comments of sold, PayPal me. Not what was the shirt made of, how does it run, nothing. It was just like automatic sales. And there was a couple women that were like, well, as soon as I lose some weight, I want to buy the shirt. So I started thinking, I'm like, for one, these women are spending money, but these women are buying something without even like asking twice about it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to friend some of these women because this could be a great audience that I need to grow my network. So I don't go harass them. I don't go message them immediately, but I started friending them. And as soon as one accepts my friend or my friend request, I go and I go and make friends with their friends, because you want to build mutuals. Because obviously if you're like not friends with any of their friends, the chances of them accepting your friendship are going to be less, because they think you're a weirdo or a stalker or a creeper or whatever. So as soon as you start getting these mutuals, so it's like I started getting all these mutual people accepting my friend requests. And I don't go, like I said, I don't message them immediately. I don't go harass them. I don't want to scare them off. So now I just like, it's got a brand new audience from wherever they're from to start seeing my posts. And it was crazy because like it just started growing like wildfire. And people would be like, oh, I'm interested in that. Or, hey. So every week I would kind of tell my story. I'd give like a general picture with my story written, and then I would go live weekly sharing my story, because I realized I was getting so many new followers and friends that they didn't know me. They didn't know my weight loss story. They didn't know my why. And I started doing that, and before I knew it, I was going from 3,000 friends to 5,000 max. Like, it was so many people, and all because of these groups. And to me, in my mind, I'm like, if I added people without their permission, then I'd expect them to do the same thing. And I would never go and message them immediately. I would not message them until they started commenting, liking my stuff, to the point where I finally felt like I had built a relationship with them. Then that's when I get, okay, I feel comfortable in saying, hey, have you ever thought about doing this business with me? Or whatever it may be, depending on what they liked. If they liked a cleanse picture, I might would have asked them about the cleanse. But that, for me, is a huge way to grow your network and get people out of your state. Because half the people in those groups are in completely different states, maybe even different countries. I was able to get 4 distributors out of Canada. I've never been to Canada, probably will never be. But I would have never talked to them. And now they're on my team, all from a group that I got added to. So I use that. And then the other thing is Host to Post. You want me to go into that now? Or was that? Okay. So Host to Post, was something I was completely against, say, March or so. Because for me, I'd always been a heavy enroller. I'd always enrolled 40 or 50 people a month as LCs. I didn't need, in my mind, I was like, I'm good. I don't need to change. Like, what's working, don't change it. But I started realizing that number was getting harder to get. Like, it was harder to maintain that. My warm market was gone. I was constantly having to find new people. And it was getting harder. So I realized real fast that I needed a better approach on how to gain more loyal customers. So one of my Lauren on my team, she's my Triple Diamond, she did this video about Host to Post. And I'm like, okay, I've got to try this. It's working for her. Me and her were always neck and neck competing with how many loyal customers we were going to get each month, and she was starting to beat me. So I'm like, okay, I got to do what she's doing because it's working. Friendly competition is the best. If you don't have someone to partner it with a buddy and hold each other accountable, because you don't want to be like competitive to a bad extent, but friendly competition to drive one another. We drive each other. It's what we like. Oh, you got one? Okay, I'm getting one. Oh, you got 2 today? Okay, I'm getting 2 today. It drives you. It's always fun. It's fun to compete in a good way. But anyway, so what I do with my Host to Post, I have 2 methods. On Facebook will say, like, hey guys, who wants to win? I always use the word win or earn, because I hate to say giveaway, because when they say giveaway, they expect if they drop an emoji, that you're going to give them something immediately, and I don't ever want to we already have the stigma that we're a scam. So you never want to make it seem more scamming than it is, like they already think. Don't make it sound like that. So I always say, hey, who wants to win or earn a free wrap or a free keto energy or free coffee sample, whatever it is I want to give away that day. And then I'll be like, drop me an emoji. So they'll drop me an emoji. And I can I can send to you, Courtney, what I send to them if I hadn't already. But as soon as they drop the emoji, I send them and just basically saying, I'll pull it up. Like, hey, would you do me a favor? I give them a post if you'll post this for me and if I get one customer off of it, I'll give you blah, 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 whatever I promised in that post. And they're always like, most of the ones that read it are like, sure, I'll do that for you. What do I have to lose? I'm like, tag me on it. You don't have to do any work. If you tag me, I will I'll almost every single person that comments, you don't have to do anything. I'll post the before and after pictures, what the cleanse is, whatever it is. I'll do it all. So they really don't have a reason not to tell you no. So I do that. And then immediately so when they post that post for me, as soon as I start getting comments, because I'm tagged, I get notified, I friend those people because guess what? That's new friends. And then I'll message them. Usually I do the cleanse because that's a really good seller for that. It feels like everybody needs a cleanse, whether you're skinny, big, whatever. You're just trying to get healthy, feel good. Everybody needs a cleanse. So I messaged them about the cleanse, and boom, I got 109 last month. That's literally, I'd probably say 90 of those were from Host to Post. And the thing about it, what I have found is so amazing is it's also potential distributors. Because I had a girl, for example, she was like really, really shy. She didn't have a ton of friends. She may have like 1,500 or so. But she posted my post for me, and she had 68 comments in 1 hour. And I'm like, and 3 of those people became LCs. So I messaged her before I moved any of those LCs, and I'm like, girl, I was like, you'd be amazing in this business. Do you realize like the following and the social presence you have? Like, I got 3 customers in an hour off your one post. I do this every day for a living. So can you imagine what your income could be? And immediately she's like, oh my God, I never thought about it. Like, is that's all you do is just kind of post like that? I'm like, yeah, I mean, do videos or whatever you want, but you've got such an awesome following. You'd be really good at this as someone on our team. And guys, she was from New York. I've never been, well, I have been to New York once, but I had nobody in New York that I know. She signed up, guys, in the month of May alone. She made her first month, she signed up May the 4th. She had 18 loyal customers in 26 days, only because I told her, I was like, I put basically an opportunity in her lap, and she realized she was good at it. So Host to Post will not only get you customers, but it'll also get you potential distributors because they realize how easy the business is. They're like, okay, I can just post like this every day. And I'm like, well, don't expect 68 comments every post, but not to get your hopes up. But yes, you can totally do this. And guys, she's rocking it. She should be Ruby probably by the end of this month, and it's not even been. She signed up May 3rd, May 4th. So it's crazy. And the only other way I do Host to Post is if I feel like the Facebook algorithm, like I said, it changes a lot. If I feel like if I'm not getting enough response to like the free stuff, I will just point blank message people that have commented, liked anything that I have done, interacted with me, and I'll just say, hey, would you do me a favor? And I'd probably say 3 out of 10 say, sure, I'd love to help you. They're getting free stuff. Why would they not? And even the ones that don't respond immediately, like today I had one that did it. I wrote her back in May to do me a favor. Today's when she finally read it. So now she posted for me. So you never know when they're actually going to do it. Maybe they were busy. Maybe they weren't. But those are my 2 tips, is the groups and Host to Post. Host to Post is like gold. I mean, you'd be crazy not to do it.
I love that. And yeah, I always want to do it. And then like, I do it and then I don't like stay up with it. I don't know why. Like, I feel like I always feel like I'll have to be like on my phone, like when people are going to be posting for me. So I like don't miss a comment. I don't know. It kind of gives me anxiety. But the more I do it, the more familiar I get with it. And I was really bad about like messaging the person like that commented and then not adding them as a friend. So then like I don't even know why I would do that if you're in your network. So, but yeah, so I love all those tips because then even better too, like the people that did like were interested, even if they didn't end up following through to order, they would end up posting a post for you. So then you get into like so many different networks because this person would do it for you, then this person would do it for you, and then you just get so many people. So I love it. Cheyenne Knox is on under Courtney Bohr, and she did it when she was going double. She didn't message a single person on Instagram, and she runs Instagram, and she did all like over 50 loyal customers just with Host to Post, and that's all she had to do for double. So it was so awesome. So it's definitely something that everybody needs to like get more comfortable with. when you sign those distributors and you're getting them going and you kind of like got them in and stuff, what are the steps that you take to get them started? Because I think everybody kind of has a different system, and I think some people that are new, like bring people in and they don't really know how to get them started and they never do anything. And so like, what are some steps you take, and do you teach your team to train the same way you do? Is it just like a ripple effect, or does everybody kind of have their own system?
I feel like we're pretty uniform in that. What I do, so like if I sign someone up, I give them their first 4 goals. One is to get their 4 loyal customers to get their $100 shopping spree. I want them to log into their eSuite so they get their commission hold off, make sure all their information is correct, set up an auto ship if they need to. I don't push that in the beginning because I don't want to scare them off. And just basically give them some what's their WTF site so they can start, when they do get customers, they can give that site out to get customers involved in their network. On our team page, I have like 6 different videos that I've done over the last, say, 6 months. One is like a new distributor training that I did for like a Zoom for our team. One was an eSuite training. Another one was about host to post. Another one is how to chart Ruby. And then another one is just a bunch of posts that are great in the beginning to use and scripts to answer those. Like, they don't know what the cleanse is, or they don't know how to answer what the fat fighter is. And I have all those 6, like, they're not pinned because you can only pin 1, but they're always at the top because anybody that we enroll, we're tagging them on it. So I send them my little quick 4 goals. I give them all their website, all that good stuff. And then I tag them in all those 6 videos or 6 posts. Like, make sure you watch these or look at these. These are going to be your saving grace for the next month until you get used to posting on your own or responding on your own. And of course, I'm here. And whoever sponsors you, if you have a question or you don't know how to answer a question, don't tell someone you don't know. Just say, hold on, get the answer, and then go back. But for me, and I also have a group chat that I'll start. If I notice that I'm enrolling a lot of distributors, like we did the $49 deal, or if I just have a really heavy week and I realize I've got a lot of brand new faces, I'll do like a group chat and add them to it. And so I can kind of stay in that constant contact with them. But I've noticed even when I do that, a lot of people don't like being notified 100 times a week, and that gets overwhelming. I've learned the simpler I make their onboarding, the simpler I make it, the better they work. Because when I used to tag them in like 20 different videos, I'm like, watch this, post this, do this. They're overwhelmed. They're like, okay, this business is way too complicated for me. Where I said, okay, here's 5 videos and 1 post on scripts. Your first goal is just to get you 4 customers. Here's how you do it. And to me, to make it simpler, I get the point where I'm like, ask as you go. Because I can word vomit on them all day long, and they just get confused, overwhelmed, and they're like, okay, this is way too much. I knew it was. I shouldn't have done this. And they get a lot more like where they want to reverse. They don't want to go forward. They want to move back. They start having regret on the fact they joined. So for me, it's like ask as you go. If you get a customer ask you what the cleanse is, get with me. I'll tell you what it is. Or here's a bunch of scripts on copy paste on what it is. For simple stuff, because eventually they're going to get their own why. The one thing I never help them on is their why. I never give them a script for their why. Their why's got to be original. It's got to be heartfelt. It's got to be from their own inner soul. Like, it's got to be from them. And making them kind of write that out and think about it, it drives that why harder. Because now they just realize they've got a passion for something they're trying to accomplish that maybe they didn't even realize they had it. Because when they say, well, how do I announce my business? I'm like, well, what's your why? Well, I don't really know. Then you need to think about it, because that why is what's going to carry you through this entire journey. And your why is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, because obviously the more money you make or the more goals you accomplish, we as human beings are never satisfied. We always want to do more. But that's okay. It's okay to dream bigger and do more. And your why is going to get bigger. But the fact that you're able to accomplish your why as you go is going to inspire so many people. So keep it simple. Don't make it hard. What is it? Ask for forgiveness instead of permission later, or whatever it is. Like, don't give them too much information. Let them just learn as they go. Because I know for me, I learn something every single day. And if someone had just word vomited all that over me, I wouldn't remember it. I'd still come in and ask you. So just let them learn as they go, and they'll ask. And I check in with them daily, especially when I see that they're really working. Hey, what do you need? Is there anything you need? And if I see they're not posting, because that's the big thing. You see people jump in and then they don't do anything. I'm like, what can I do to help you? And that's usually why I don't know what to post. I will start with your why, because your why is what's going to get people to start watching you, and that's what you want.
I love all of that too. And it's so important to stay in contact with them. You can't just sign people up and then expect that they're going to learn everything by themselves. Rocker's really about his mac and cheese, and his dad just let him out of the high chair. But anyways, so you just have to remember that, like, how you felt whenever you started. Like, all the questions they ask, it's good if they're asking questions. If they're blowing up your phone, because that means they're wanting to learn, and they trusted you to lead them on this journey. So you have to be patient with them, because we don't start this business knowing what we're doing. And so even if they ask questions like, what's an LC, what's a BBK, or what, like, that's just stuff that they don't know. So you have to be patient with them until they get it. I've been in 3 years, I'm an ambassador, and I still there's still things I don't know. I still learn something new all the time. So if they're asking questions, it means that they're trying and they're learning. So just remember that. So do you do self-development?
I'm really bad on that. I don't read a lot. What I do is I constantly, I have a ton of ambassadors that I follow. And then, like, for me, I do my daily devotion every day, like reading like the Bible app. I'll do that every morning. For me, it's just like, I'll go on YouTube. If I'm having kind of one of those days where it's like, I just don't feel motivated, or I feel like something I'm doing is not working, or I'm a little discouraged, because don't get me wrong, I'm a very positive person, but I still have days where I'm like, okay, what I was doing last week's not working this week. What's up? I don't understand. And especially the more LCs you sign and distributors you sign, you expect it. Like, your bar's been raised. So it's like, when that doesn't happen, it's like, okay, what am I doing wrong? What happened? I was doing it last month. What's wrong this month? So for me, like, I'll go on YouTube, and it doesn't have to be It Works related. I'll go search, like motivation, even if it's just getting inspired for the day, daily inspiration. There's so much, even on Pinterest. I mean, just go search those kind of things on Pinterest, and they just get me pumped up. And I'm like, you know what? Get out. Stop throwing yourself a pity party. No one's invited. No one wants to come. And you got to get over it. Like, you've got to figure it out. You've done it before. You know what to do. So get to work. And the moment I stop thinking about all what's not happening and start thinking about what I can be doing, everything changes. Because we devote so much energy and attention as human beings on what's not working. Why is this person not working? Why are they quitting on me? Why won't they post? I've given them every post in the world. Why won't they do it? Why is my spouse not support me? Why does, whatever it is, whatever you've got in your head, I've heard it all. The moment you start thinking about what is working, like, go work with the people that are working. Go do what works, because eventually it's going to work again. That has helped me more than anything, is get out of my own head. Because the moment I get in my head and I start overthinking things, like, I'm a big worrier. I will worry myself to death over things that I can't even control. So for me, like, that self-development is getting out. Well, there's a book called Getting Over Yourself, I believe. But it's just getting out of your own head. Put your blinders on. Don't focus on what anybody else is doing. It doesn't matter who succeeded this fast or who failed this fast. You are your own journey, and there's no timeline on your journey. The timeline is what you decide it to be. So it's like, get out of your own head and just get to work, and stop being your own worst enemy, because that's ultimately, our mind will play the worst tricks on us, and the moment we let that happen, that's when defeat, and we feel like we fail, and it's the exact opposite.
My child is crazy. That makes so much sense too. One of my favorite things, like Pam, I heard her say, is, everybody has a different timeline for success. I went ambassador in 11 months, and presidential in 4 months. But, some ambassadors, it takes 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. You don't get up on there and her hand you the mic and say, how long did it take you to go ambassador? Like, that's never a question that's asked, So, they just, like, it's the point that you got there. So everyone's going to have a different journey, a different timeline, and you just have to embrace that. So I love that you said that. My husband likes your hair.
Oh, thank you.
He was like, she kind of has that look like, don't mess with me. I was like, I know, I like it too. So you're so good at loyal customers, and this is kind of the one thing I want to get, like, kind of the nitty gritty about. So what does your conversation look like with PLCs? I know, you spend a lot of time interacting and building those relationships, which is just as big with this business as it is just messaging people or, blitzing people. So you spend a lot of time doing that. So what does your conversation look like when you initially send them the message, or when you're trying to seal the deal with them?
For me, it's like the moment they have, and I really try, because I never want to be the spammy person. I don't want to be the cold messaging person. I'm not saying I've never done it because we all get desperate at times. But generally speaking, generally speaking, I always try to make sure there's at least some kind of relationship there, because I want to be the one when I do message them that they know who, they at least know my name. They know, they're familiar with me. So it's not like it's a cold message, just kind of like, who's this girl? She doesn't even know who I am. And most of my conversations with potential LCs come from Host to Post. And even before, it was people that had like commented or liked something that to me triggered to want to ask them about the product or whatever it was I was offering. So it's hard to say like what the actual conversation always looks like. For me, it's just the relationship. Like at that point, I feel like they've given me the permission to talk about whatever it is I want to recommend them. A lot of times when they say, hey, someone will message me and say, hey, I saw you were posting something about losing weight. I need to lose weight. I never tried. My husband taught me this because he worked for cell phone sales for a long time. It was like what you don't want to do is you don't want to start off with Fat Fighter. Because if you start off with a $25 sale, it's going to be very hard for you to upgrade if that person could afford, say, $150. You shortchanged yourself, and you got to get 5 LCs to equal whatever you could have got out of one. Start high. Don't start so high that you sticker shock them, but start high enough to not insult them, to think that we don't know their checking account. We don't know what they can afford. So there's 2 questions I need to ask. First is, what is your goal? Like, what are you trying to do? And if they say, I've got 100 pounds to lose, okay. Well, anyone that knows they have 100 pounds to lose knows that it's probably going to take more than one product or one method to get 100 pounds off, okay? And I'll usually even share with them my expertise. And if you don't have 100 pounds to lose, or you don't know that story, find someone on your downline or your team that has lost that, or me, myself. You could totally message me and I'll give you my ideas. But someone that has 10 pounds to lose versus someone that has 100 pounds to lose is a very different client. 100 pounds to lose is a lot different, and what they're probably going to have to do and take, and the commitment they're going to have to make to get that weight off versus 10 pounds. So I ask them what their goals are. So then I kind of know, okay, well, if you got 100 pounds to lose, and I lead with a triple threat a lot and do the Fat Fighter, the greens, and the ThermoFit. And I tell them, like, here's what I recommend. If you really want to get the weight off, we can start with 3 months and go from there. But this is what I recommend. You tell me if this is in your budget. If they say, well, I can't really do $100 a month. Okay, great. Well, we can start with just the ThermoFit and Fat Fighter, $64 a month. See what they respond with. You could always work your way down to $25. But if you start with $25 and then they can't do anything, you have nowhere to go. I mean, you can sell them an oil, but you're not going to get it as an LC, so it doesn't matter. So start higher and work your way down. But believe it or not, all that talking is a conversation. They just got to know you. They just realized that you cared about their budget. You're trying to fit something into what they need, whether it be 10 pounds. Now, if they say they only have 10 pounds to lose, I'm totally fine with offering them a $25 Fat Fighter. But if they tell me they've got they need help, like they really need help, they're coming to you for that. So just kind of use that as your guideline. I have no problem saying what's your monthly budget, because people are usually pretty honest. If they can afford $100 a month, I've had people where I was only going to offer them like Fat Fighter and ThermoFit for $64, but I asked them what their monthly budget is, for like $250. I'm like, oh, whoa, I was about to cut myself out of a huge chunk. I can offer her the Fit 30. If they tell me their budget's $200, I still try to go under a little bit, because I don't want them to think I'm just in it for the dollar amount, and I'm going to try to get them for the full $200. I'm like, great, I got this awesome Fit 30. It's $156. And they're like, oh, that's awesome. Okay, great. And even if they tell me their budget's $100, there's plenty of times that I'll say, well, I've got the ThermoFit Fat Fighter for $64. Because after tax and shipping, you're going to get closer to that. But it's just asking questions. It's just having a conversation. That, to me, is my best advice I can give you. And don't just give the same solution to every single customer, because every single person is different.
You're getting me so excited. I love it. And I just love how passionate you are about the people you're talking to, because this is a relationship building business. I think sometimes we get so caught up in the get the sale that we don't really make people feel like we do genuinely care about their goals. And I think when you do that and you get their goals, in mind, and you get their budget and stuff set, you're going to actually build those relationships. And then one, if they get really good results, they're going to become a distributor because they fell in love with the product. Or two, they're going to stay a customer because they fell in love with the product and they're seeing results and they want more of that. So if you want people to stay on after their 3 months, then you have to get them a program that they like, and you have to continuously check in with them and find a follow-up system that works for you to make sure that they're not forgotten about. So leading into that, do you have a follow-up system that you use to check in with your loyal customers, even if they're just like, I usually have them tell me when they get the product in, so then I can like explain like how I would like have them use it. And I also usually get like, when I'm talking about their goals and stuff, I kind of get their habits of like their eating habits, their exercise habits, because there's certain things you don't want to offer. Kind of, it just depends on like what their lifestyle is like based on what you offer them. So I usually have them message me and like tell me when they got the product, so then I explain how to use the product so they get the best result. But after that, do you have a good system that works for you with checking in on them, or do you just rely on them like messaging you, or do you let them know when their 3 months is up, or kind of how do you go about like getting them on another 3 months? Or, I just feel like it's so important not to just forget about your customers once they're signed up, because I feel like that kind of makes them feel like you don't really care. So do you have a system that works for you with that?
Yeah, so what I do, I do that. I make sure I ask them if they'll please tell me like when they get their stuff in, so I can make sure they don't have any questions, or they know how to take it, or when to take it, that kind of thing. 2 things. I have a group. So as soon as a loyal customer signs up with me, especially now, like if it's hair, skin, or nails, or like a skincare product, I don't add them to it. But if it's a weight loss type customer, or even like just I want to have more energy, those kind of customers that are under the lifestyle, body, keto, whatever it is, that kind of category, I have a group page. I have about 600 people on it now. So what I do is I add them to my group page as soon as I sign them up. And I do that for a couple reasons. I don't like messaging people to say, hey, your 3 months is almost up. Do you want to continue? Because 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, oh, no, I'm so glad you reminded me. I don't want it. Or they just can't afford it or whatnot. So you almost proactively get them to cancel, and I don't want to do that. But I constantly want to be a bug in their ear. So what I do is I add them to my group, and then every day, it doesn't a day go by, I post something inspirational as far as fitness, like, hey, get to your workout. Never skip a Monday, whatever it is. I post some recipes on there, and then I usually post if like when they did the flash sale with the perfect blend, I posted that on there because it gives me a way to constantly stay in contact with all of my customers, whether they have 3 months going on or they don't have 3 months going on, and it keeps them in contact with me. They can never say, well, you didn't keep in touch. They're in a specific group page that I'm posting workouts. I'm posting, and guys, these workouts you can get from Pinterest. I mean, if you want to do abs one day, I'll do legs one day. And usually it's the workout I'm doing for the day. So I just got into PiYo. I love PiYo. So I'll post what I did on my PiYo workout. And with the app, with What the Fit, that helps a lot too. But I still see like with my group, it's such a very close knit. And the cool thing is some of those customers will go and comment, oh my God, I just weighed in today and I lost 10 pounds. Well, get this, the customer that hadn't been a customer of yours that canceled their 3 months, like 3 months ago, sees that, it re-sparks their interest, like, well, something they're doing is working. I need to get back on track. And they actually inspire one another. So I highly recommend having those groups. And I'll do like, it's just constant contact. And most people just want to know that you're in their corner rooting them on. So the fact that I post something inspirational every day, or tell them something I'm struggling with, or hey guys, it's my cheat meal tonight. Where are y'all cheating at? Where's your cheat meal at this week? Whatever, it gets people talking, and it's just a great community, and it lets them know that they're not in this alone. So that's really helped me. And then the other thing, and speaking of when you were talking about like what's their food and what's their diet, this made me, I had a customer back when I very first started, and I'm not an expert when it comes to food. I know what works for me, and I can give you very good recommendations on what works for you. We're all different. But I had a girl, she was upset. She had taken Fat Fighter for 3 months straight. I don't know if she took it every day like she was supposed to. She said she did. And she had not lost 1 pound the entire 3 months. I even told her what to eat, things that were good. And this is what she came back at me with. And it made me realize how clueless a lot of our customers are that sign up, that we think that you should just know what's healthy, that they don't. So take it as a mission to get more expertise, get more knowledge on what it is that you don't have to be a sports nutritionist or a nutritionist, but you need to have some knowledge in that. Just like you wouldn't go to a dentist with rotting teeth. You wouldn't go to, if you're going to hire a trainer, you're probably going to want a trainer that knows what reps are or knows what each muscle group is. Practice what you preach. She came to me and she said she was angry at me. She said, my inner tube, this thing is not going down, and it's your fault. And I was like, well, okay. Have you taken the supplement every day? Yeah, I took it. I said, okay, so what are you eating? Her response to me was she was eating chicken every day. Okay, great. What kind of chicken? She said, well, I get it from KFC every day. I was like, okay, well, they do have grilled chicken. So I'm thinking, okay, well, are you eating the grilled rotisserie chicken? She's like, no, I'm eating fried chicken every day, but I don't get extra crispy anymore, and I don't put mayonnaise on it. I'm like, so you're eating fried chicken every single day for lunch or dinner, whatever it was, and you think you're doing awesome because you didn't put mayonnaise on it and you didn't get extra crispy. And this girl was dead serious, angry at me for not losing weight. And it made me realize, like, oh my God, she has no clue. And it's not her fault because I wasn't very clear. I told her to eat chicken. I thought she knew it was meant to be grilled chicken. So you can have fried chicken once a week on your cheat meal, is what my response was. So it just sometimes means just like talking to people, and it dawned on me. I'm like, okay, that's not rocket science for me, but obviously she had never lost weight before. She was clueless. So it's those little things that make you realize, like, you have to help people. You're offering them a product, but you need to offer them a little bit beyond the product if you want them to be lifetime customers.
Yeah, and I think too, it's so important to be realistic, because if they're like, you say, you know, what are your goals? What are your eating habits like? What are your exercise habits? And they're like, I don't exercise at all. I eat really bad. And I have like Taco Bell. I'm like, okay, you have to be like, okay, well, I can give you the supplements, but you're going to have to do the work. You know, so I'm like, can I give them an idea of like water intake or how, and I really, really like, it's so simple too, is with the cleanse, you know, you have that, the food that you can replace bad foods with good foods, like whole grain versus, you know, like a sweet potato versus a baked potato. Like you have a simple thing that you can just show them how to, like, just switch out some stuff. They don't have to eat like super clean every single day, but they can take, like, you can make certain changes. So like, that's kind of one thing I start with too, is just showing them how they can do it. And it's so funny because everybody always asks me about Ryan, because Ryan's like super fit, but he works out every single day. If he doesn't go to the gym, you don't want to talk to him. But they're like, well, what's Ryan? People will message me about Ryan. And I'm like, and they're like, what's his diet like? And I'm like, well, for being honest, he eats 3 or 4 honey buns at night with a half a gallon of milk and a little Debbie. Like, he honestly just has a really fast metabolism, so I'm not going to say it's just our products. And so they're like, oh, you just have to be realistic about your goals. Like, if you're not going to work out, you have to be eating clean. But if you're going to work out to kind of compensate for your cheat meals, then it'll kind of even out. So you have to like give them a little bit more than just the products. I love that. So we have just like 1 more minute. So if you want to just like just close out with just one tip you had, I know a lot of people are going for this $1,000 bonus, and you got the $500 bonus when you started. I got the $1,000 bonus when I started. So what are some tips you have for these people that are going Ruby and trying to go Diamond and like really pushing for these goals? Because I think some people that are going for these goals and stuff, sorry, my husband is kicking this ball and I have ADD and I can't concentrate. He just looked at me and I was like, I can't think. Like they have to realize the work it takes to do this. Like, it's not just going to happen. Like, Diamond just doesn't fall in your lap. Like, you have to be working every single day and bringing people in. So what are some tips you have for promoting and like closing out strong to make sure they're like taking advantage of these bonuses?
Okay, so like things that I would say that are really going to help make it easier. Because so if you're trying to go Ruby and okay, let's say by the 15th, okay, I need $2,000 in volume between now and then to make this happen. You need it for me. Like what I've done and what I've told my team to do is break that down to a day. Like, what is it you need every single day? If it's $100 a day, okay, how is that? 3 cleanses a day? Is that 4 fat fighters? Whatever it is you want to do, like whatever y'all sell, make it to the point where you break it down to a day. So it's like, okay, it makes it easier, because when you think, if you're like $4,000 short or $3,000, that's a big number. And when you're thinking, oh my God, I've got to make all this happen in the next amount of days. But when you break it down to a daily basis, sometimes it's breaking it down to an hourly basis. And I've done it before. When I went presidential, I had it down to every 2 hours, I needed a cleanse here. And like, it helped me visualize it and realize, okay, this is not as complicated as you're making it. It's doable if you get to work. So I knew that if I could get 2 people a day to host a post for me, that's going to be an extra maybe 2 cleanse a day that I can sell. Whatever it may be. So break it down daily. Know what your daily goal is. Make sure you know what your goal is, period. Like, if you're going Ruby and you don't even know what you're short in volume, then then you need to figure that out. You need to figure out what it is you need, so that you can make it achievable, because you don't want to go in blind. You need the map. Without your map, if you don't have your chart in front of you, I carried that chart with me every time we went out to eat, every time we went out to dinner, whatever I was doing, I was in the car line picking up my daughter. I knew exactly what I needed at all times. And I love having a system to where, okay, I write down everybody that needs something, how much it is they need, and then as they get it, I cross them off. And my list gets shorter and shorter and shorter, and it's so exciting to be able to cross the name off. Like I told my husband, okay, it's down to 15 names, down to 10 names, down to 5 names. It just makes it so exciting, and it makes it achievable. It makes it like actually look like, okay, I can do this. Because if you just see a big number at the end, it's just like when you're trying to lose weight. If you say, okay, I got 100 pounds to lose, and you see that big number, it's like, oh God, I'm never going to make it happen. If anybody say, if I'm okay, I'm going to lose 5 pounds a week, it's a lot easier to do. So break it down. One thing I think you have to do as advice is to not compare your story or your journey to anyone else. I know we talked about the timeline, but it's like for a lot of people, when they see other people succeeding, it deters them. It's like it discourages you. It's like, oh God, well, I didn't do that. What's wrong with me? And you start doubting yourself. That's the devil talking to you saying it's not possible. So you have to remember, like, put your blinders on and be happy for those people. Let them be your inspiration. Let them fuel your fire, but don't let them deter you. Let them be your, like, oh, that just put me, I just got nitro put in me, like, I'm going to go. And let that be your fuel. Any other tips? I mean, for me, it's just do the work. Message. One thing I can tell you not to do is don't close your business for a day. If you think of yourself as a business, if you're truly thinking of yourself as a business, think of yourself right now if you had a boutique, okay? You had a store that actually had doors. You open and close every day. You unlock at 9, you close at 5. If you had a business that you literally close the doors all day long, all day, you close them. Well, for one, can you think how pissed your customers would be because they're trying to get into your store and they can't get in? And then the other thing is that you lost 12 hours or 8 hours of potential. So if you think because you're discouraged that closing your business for 24 hours because you're ticked and you're discouraged, it's going to help your business, it's going to only make it harder because now you got to do double the work the next day. So just be consistent in your behaviors. Be persistent. Don't be afraid to ask. The worst thing they can do is tell you no. That's literally, they can block you, I guess, but the worst thing to do is tell you no. So don't be afraid to ask, but don't be afraid to go after it what you want. And the only thing else I'll tell you is don't look at no's. When you get a no, don't look at a no as being a discouraging thing. Look at a no as your next step closer to a yes. Because it takes at least 30 no's to get to one yes. So the more no's you get, the closer you are to your yes. That's all I got.
Love that. You're so awesome. I'm like, oh, I love it. And you're like, it's so funny because I do the same things too with like highlighting people off. And, I have my binder and I have like all my follow-ups. So I do kind of something with follow-ups, like I'm going to follow up with these people until I can highlight their name off that they ordered or joined. And everybody that's not highlighted, they're going to keep getting followed up with until they tell me to like no or they block me. And so it's like an adrenaline rush when you can like sign a name off. And I love that you said that too. Sometimes it just takes like a team like hearing it from someone else. Okay, I saw one question. If you just have like 1 minute, I think it'll be really quick.
Oh, you're good. I'm in a rush.
Like on Facebook, when you're adding all these people and you're growing your network, but someone messages you and say, "Do I know you?" I know that's like a really awkward question. You're like, "Well, I kind of just like added you from this group," or you don't want to immediately talk about it works. So what's that response when someone says, "Do I know you?" Or
yeah, I get that a lot. So what I'll say is, well, I should get a lot, but I get it here and there. And I'll say, well, hey, I just saw that we had a lot of things in common, and I love growing my network. I love meeting new people. So I just thought that I'd friend you and we can get to know one another. And those people I write down. I don't want to message them anytime soon because I don't want to look like I was lying about what I was doing or trying to get them into what I'm doing. But I'm just networking. If they're in any kind of business, they should hope to be doing the same thing. But that's literally what I just say. Like, hey, I love getting to know new people. I love networking. I saw that we had a lot of things in common. I don't mention the group necessarily because I don't want them to think that I friended them just from that group because I don't want them to go to the person that owns the group. Be like, this girl just friended me. She's probably friending all the people in this group because they will do that. So I just like, hey, I love getting to know new people. And I leave it at that. The more you say, the more awkward it probably is. And you'll have some that say, I've had maybe 2 say, oh, I see you're with It Works. I'm not interested. All right, great. Have a good day. No worries. No love lost. But most of the time, they're like, oh, cool. Okay. And they accept it. So it's like, I just know, I have a little note do not message people for a short period of time. Like, don't, even if they like my stuff, like some of those people that if they had enough nerve to ask you how they know you, they're kind of on high alert. So I like take that into sensitivity and realize that they're a little more, I gotta be a little more soft with my approach. So I kind of watch, I watch them as probably much as they're watching me. So it's kind of my thinking on it.
Okay, I love that too. Thank you so much for getting on with us. I'm so excited. I'm going to be watching you till you go ambassador. I'll be watching you do that too, but like I'm going to be cheering you on. So good luck with all of that. And thank you so much for getting on. I know like, I have like all the comments and stuff, and then our page, everybody's like, she's so amazing. I can't wait. I just love this. So you're definitely been so inspiring. So I'm sure they'll all be following you later to like watch your journey and stuff. But thank you so much for getting on with us.
Well, thank you for having me, and I hope y'all have an amazing night. And I'm flattered to be on. So I wish y'all the best of luck this month.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you, girl.
Bye. Y'all have a good night.